Welcome to Mick and the Psychic, where we leave no stone unturned as we explore all things outside the apparent physical realm.
There is no intent to teach or make you believe or disbelieve anything. It is just a safe space to listen and explore with us.
So for this next episode, you have permission to open your heart and mind as you join myself and Xavier on this deep dive into the unknown.
You know what? This is how we're going to start the podcast. What could possibly go wrong? That's right. We're starting this podcast today, and we're going to talk a little bit about gender fluidity. Now, it's not going to be our opinions necessarily on gender fluidity, because who cares what Mick and the Psychic think anyway?
That's right.
Let's have a bit of an insight into kind of what do we call it? The outside the physical realm exploration of around gender and I don't know, I guess what
not just gender, I guess species. Yeah, we're just talking about it and some of the slang terms that are used, and then that made us decide, hey, let's just make this the topic tonight.
Yes.
Like, wow, bang. Here we go. I guess that's why it dropped in.
I should be able to. Surely we should get some clickbait from this. It's just we're also going to get cancelled. You're welcome.
Maybe, yes, but I wonder how many people, Mick, have actually thought of a spiritual, maybe even past life reasons or something like that around why people sometimes feel like they're trapped in the wrong body. I know that's like a common way it's been described to me, and we definitely by no means know bugger all about what the rules are and all the different terms, and so I got goosebumps. I just want to put it out there for both of us that we hope we don't offend you. If we trigger anything in you, triggering is something that needs to be healed and worked on. That's a good sign for that, so it's actually a good thing, I would say. And if you feel like we're talking about something that we don't know what we're talking about, please educate us and comment.
Educate us. That's it. Yeah, give us your comments.
Because we don't know all the terms, and we really don't intentionally mean to offend anybody. We don't even know what we're going to say. We're just going to go and discuss this interesting topic.
Oh, well, I do. I know what I'm going to say.
You know what you're going to say? I've had some clients, like many clients, and I've got some beautiful friends that have had gender identity issues, and I've done some channeling, past life healing, and I've seen some common threads. So I thought that'd be interesting to talk about, to see if what you think, Mick, and see if that sounds like something that might make sense to you and maybe our listeners. Or
and also absolutely, that's what we're talking about. And I've got a history of working with same-sex attract groups, which was back in the early 2000s. Before it was when I started working, it was LGBT.
Just good old
got to LGBT.
Those were the good old days.
LGBTQ.
That's rude. I shouldn't say that.
LGBTQI, and then it's LGBTQI plus.
All the
and
alphabet
then, like,
and the rainbows.
I'm sure there's more, and people are, oh my gosh, you're still at LGBTQI plus. What is wrong with you?
That's right. When I said those are the good old days, I only meant for my memory, because
no, you've already said it. You're cancelled. I'm still okay. So,
didn't mean it like that.
No. I mean,
you know me. Our listeners know me. I'm not mean on purpose.
The more you premise what you're going to say, the more cancelled.
I'm going to stop apologizing now.
Yeah, good.
Apologizing. I'm going to stop up more.
But I think there's been a lot, and there still is, even back then as well, of working out what the rules are. And it's not so much for rules; it's about working out what's real and what's really going on. And I think the biggest part of that is safety, to be able to do that. It being okay to be able to explore and work out what's really going on, and not be stuck in the same old terms and the same old way of thinking. Because then you have people that feel a certain way, but they're made to act a different way. And I think that's why it's okay to talk about this, because really this is not about hard and fast rules, because what was said back then is probably wrong now, and what we say now that's politically correct in 5 years' time might be completely inappropriate. So
that's right.
It's about holding holding the space for each other and respect that someone may feel a different way. Let's make them feel okay with not having to act something different to how they feel. And I think that's where it's okay to get things wrong, as long as you come from a place of love and going, oops, sorry, like you want people to feel
That's right.
accepted. So as we explore some of that, it's not about exploring the terms, because as you said at the start, we're far from freaking qualified. I think you're better off getting a degree in information technology than you are in these kind of studies at the moment, because it changes that fast.
That's right.
But I think that the background about it is that we should be really accepting of each other. And when it comes out, we should do that anyway. And when you're talking sexuality, it just should be done with sexuality as well.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of think of it as similar terms to explain it to me. So calling me a basic white bitch. Like, I don't, what are my problems in comparison to some others? Like, for Black people, like sometimes people feel like they have to describe themselves when they meet someone. Sometimes they feel like they need to say what their gender is or their preferences. But
pronouns,
I don't go, the pronouns, and I don't go up to anybody and feel like I need to say, hi, I'm straight, which I'm not saying, like, it just feels like I shouldn't have to. I'm just a person. And honestly, if anyone came up to me and wanted to tell me who they're into, it's none of my business. Like, you don't need to tell me. If that makes them comfortable though, and I feel like they need to, then that's fine too. Like, if they want to, I'm like, okay, whatever. Are you a good person?
Which I think comes from being so. It's very unlikely that you are going to be misgendered because you identify as she, her. You're not going to be misgendered because that's not that's the way it presents in today's society anyway. If you look female, then there's probably going to be female, right? That's just the thing on the street. Doesn't mean you are, but like you're less likely to be misgendered. However, I do actually have a story about being misgendered.
Oh, good.
Yes. It was in about 1994, 1995. And I was at the food court with my girlfriend at the time, and in the shops at the food court. Like, this is hard for me to say. And we're sitting there, and we just finished our food, and the person that goes around and was cleaned, and she went over to take our plates and stuff, and she goes, "Are you ladies finished?" Because she saw me from behind, because I had really long hair, and when it was long, it had kind of ringlets at the bottom.
Oh, pretty.
And so I was just like, and I looked up, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And I actually felt like I was pretty embarrassed at the time, which is silly. And me as a 14-year-old kid was probably fine. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. I don't think
14, like,
we had to go, but it's like, wow, I was misgendered as a 14-year-old boy, and it was like, oh, awkward, and a bit upsetting. I think if you being misgendered, like when it matters, it didn't matter for me because it was pretty quick. She saw my face and went, "Oh, sorry." But like, if you're misgendered and you really identify as in another way or non-binary, it's probably very hurtful for that to happen every single day, all of the time.
Exactly. So you want to pretense that so people can practice and respect it. But then at the same time, you probably need to be prepared for some people to go, whatever. Some people to go, "Oh, yeah, no worries. Thanks for letting me know." So it's going to make
and get it wrong because they're not used to saying they or them. They
say she.
One of my
besties is doesn't identify as either gender, and I still stuff up sometimes and don't say they or don't say their name.
Yeah.
At least I care enough to go, crap, sorry.
Exactly.
Try to fix it. I think that's the point. You have to be spot on.
And they don't hammer you about it, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah.
No. But if I kept doing it and I just was relentlessly not caring, I think that is an issue. So the whole point is just to be nice, be good to people, and be respectful. Like, it's not that hard to try to remember. Like, it might be if you've got a lot of different kinds of people in your life and sometimes you slip up, but if you just go, oh, whatever, it's about the person you are, not who you identify or what you identify as. So
I think so too. And I think as well, like, a big premise for this whole thing for me is that it's almost like the notion that there's something wrong with a person if they don't identify as a specific gender, or they identify as a different gender to what they were born, or anything like that. I feel like there's got to be an honesty there. If you genuinely don't feel a certain way, there's nothing wrong with you. That's how you feel. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And I think that's important to come across for people, that real acceptance is not that there's something wrong with this person. It's just that's their experience. And you
Mhm.
can't say that it's not. You don't know what it's like
Yeah.
to be them.
And your opinion of whether you
It's
think they're
irrelevant.
going through a phase, or it's a trend,
Oof,
or it's real,
that'd hurt. Yeah.
wow, it's none of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your business. So but the main thing we want to talk about today is like,
Yes, sorry.
why do we think that happens for people, that we feel like like, if we're choosing our lessons and choosing to come here, like we've talked about so many times, why would we choose to come here and then feel like I'm in the wrong body? This doesn't make sense. Why am I here? Like, I'm so confused. Why would you perhaps choose to have a harder life potentially by being gay? And I don't know if gay covers, or like, I don't think that actually covers everybody at the moment. Okay, gay or lesbian, I'm not sure of the term, so please correct me. But yeah, I'm not sure whether you choose that. Like, why would you want to choose that as a lesson, possibly? Yeah, like, what do you reckon, Mick, before I get into what I think?
Well, I think my thoughts on this unfortunately negate the entire conversation because yeah, I know. So we probably don't want to start with mine, but
Or should I go first?
no, because yours is an interesting answer, and uh, I think what one of my friends has always said, he wants to one day buy me a gold necklace with a golden fence on it because I'm the ultimate fence sitter. I'm like, shut up, man. It's just how I feel. But I've felt at times where I've just gone, oh, this whole world doesn't feel real. And I think a lot of our listeners, if they're listening to our show, probably have sensed the same kind of feeling as well from time to time, where there's something about, like, something weird about this world and about me, of who I really am. And I feel like that touches on something where the more I get insight into things, the more everything that changes is possibly less real than something that stays the same. So the part of you that is unaffected by happy times or sad times or trauma or wonderful things or love, there's a part of you that just is, that maybe even experiences the witness of who you are. That bit doesn't change ever. That bit's not born, it doesn't die, it just is. So I feel like that, whatever that is that I can't bring words back to, is that transcends all of this, is like the reality and real. And anything that we can come up to in this dimension and this existence only comes from our own perception in our own mind with our own words. And we're just describing, we're just explaining something more fake in a fake world. You know, like the knowledge that we have down here is just knowledge of, it's almost like explaining a computer game. And you know how you hear some nerds talk about their computer games, like, oh, you've got this spell card and that does that and that. And you're like, oh, gives a shit? You got all this knowledge over a game. Like, what are you doing? And funny enough, I feel like more knowledge we get here in this world, it's just more knowledge about something that's fake anyway. So for me, I feel like if you're feeling like you're not really a boy or a girl or whatever, or you've got certain feelings of something deeper inside, I'm like, yeah, well, I think go with it, because you're getting in touch with something that feels more real. But it's all, the part of you that is unaffected by all that isn't a boy or a girl or sexually driven or whatever. It's all in this world anyway. So I feel like, in a sense, as much as some things annoy me in where things go to crazy extremes, I kind of feel like anything goes, because it's just as silly.
Part of the game.
Being a cat at school is just as silly as me being a man that's a therapist. I feel like it's when we get down to it, it's just as silly. So
True.
that's my overarching thought over the whole thing is it's all kind of silly.
But you've gone like way out. Like I love that. So people will be sitting there going, "Whoa, that went deep." Well, that escalated quickly.
Oh, yeah, welcome to my mind. So, you know, when you go into nuances, it's just like, well, it's just as silly that I think that I am a married man that's a therapist as much as, you know, you think that you're a cat.
And this could be tricky sometimes because we can think like we have these massive thoughts like this, you know, us spiritually minded people and a lot of people listening, I'm sure, have these massive thoughts, and then we sort of like get back in our bodies and go through life and be human.
You're still got to be human. You're still here.
Yeah, you're still be human. And so then you still get triggered by things, and some things you might not like cat people, whatever.
Yeah, but it's all silly.
Whatever.
I think going down the cat realm, right? It's just really, it's got nothing to do with me. And like, seriously, why should I care? But it's going to be so much harder for that person that identifies as a cat to get by in society. But you can go that down to, you know, someone that is a minority in the area that they live. So it could be your color, it could be your race, it could be your sexual preference, like something as simple as that. Like I wouldn't, it's going to be harder. You can't pretend that it's not harder. And because it's harder, I think that's where it's like, okay, so you've got to have some compassion and maybe sometimes sway the kind of tables a bit to make it easier for people.
Rather than thinking that
it's still not easy. Yeah, it's still not easy.
We love interviewing experts from different fields about all things outside the apparent physical realm.
And the one constant is these phenomena are transmitted through energy.
So we sought out and teamed up with Subtle Energy Science
to bring you, our listeners,
energetic encoded technology you can use on your phone, laptop, computer, or tablet,
turning your device into a powerful personal quantum energy tool. Now, we're not the creators, or are we qualified enough to explain it at all, but there is a mind-blowing number of scientific studies available on their website.
We get to try their range ourselves so we can give an honest review. And until the end of April, we've got 20% off The Mystic with promo code MATP-861.
And I love using The Mystic. I love it more than anything else. And I notice it really helps if you want to open up your heart or tune in to a deeper awareness.
Now back to the show. I love how that example you gave, like, being gay 40 years ago when it was used to get, you know, more often in just
you could be killed.
Yeah, you could be killed, beaten, and that was horrible. Choosing to be born and like to come out then, massive challenge. It's a bit easier now, and everyone's going to have individual experiences, but it's easier now. Okay?
Depending where you are,
Depending where you are, I was going to say other countries still get killed.
If you're in a solid Catholic family, that might be really tough. Or even here.
Yeah, or African country, like things like that, like around, So
big time.
I do believe, and from experience of doing past lives and healings and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, let's get into it. Come on. Everyone's like, oh, they're finally there. Oh, God.
Finally there. The harder life that we choose when we come here could be that we're balancing out a whole lot of karma and other past lives we need to clear all at once. So the people that choose the really hard lives, that go through lots of trauma, who go through massive decisions like feeling like they're in the wrong body and going through a whole sex change, or not being able to afford it and being frustrated that they can't. Or
being someone, I feel for people that struggle to be able to pass as the gender that, because like, you know, you can get some guys that are actually got quite fine and cute features and where they can just like go straight into female mode and look amazing, where you've got others that have got really big jaw and everything. It's like,
so frustrating,
so heartbreaking for people that find it hard to pass, and they've got to, and they do surgery, or you know, they just get looks from people.
And so that'd be frustrating too. Like there's all these different frustrations and
levels of hard.
Why would you choose that? So
exactly.
I do believe or feel, and I might be wrong, but this is just from a lot of experiences I've had and seen, that, yeah, sometimes we're balancing out a whole lot of karma at once and we pick a really hard life. Because if you see, like we've discussed before, that maybe Earth is like the university of life experiences to help our soul evolve. That's why we don't remember why we came here, and we forget everything, and we try to figure our way around and whatever. If that's the point, I'm not sure exactly why we want to keep evolving and go back home to source all shiny and thinking we've done it all. Maybe we kind of graduate and then we get to help other souls decide what they're doing. We're like a council member or something then.
Oh,
Who
we're
knows?
gonna get to this one
We're gonna
day,
get to
because I don't see the point of evolving if the source is already everything. But anyway,
that's a good point.
continue.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact answer, but this is what I'm surmised from
Yeah.
experience, I guess, and
Of
talk
what we're doing, what you've
what
seen
we-
that we're
what
doing.
we know.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about why, but just seeing what's
this is-
happening. Sure.
Yes, it's as much
Yeah.
as I can possibly know, and maybe you only get shown what you can handle. We've just talked about that before. So yeah, that's what I reckon. And then I've done past life healing and clearing on a few different people. So I've done it for someone who was transitioning, and I've done past lives for bunches of people that are either don't identify or are gay or bisexual or whatever, like different kinds of. And some of them were curious and wanted to know why they were going through what they were going through, and others, it wasn't even a question, it just came up in the past life healing. So noticed, I reckon on average it'd be about 6 out of 10 past lives that I've done for someone who, and I'm putting them together because I reckon there's about 10 people all up. I think this has come up for about 6 of them either gay or feeling like they're in the wrong body, had past lives as the other gender before, more like most of their past lives were the other gender, and this was the first or second time.
So it's like a sticky gender.
Yeah.
So when you come back again, it's
like,
wow.
It doesn't feel
That's
right. I'm
interesting.
used to being a female, but I'm in this guy's body, and what is that? Like
Can I say on that? So I haven't had any clients where it's been anything that's come up in regards to gender.
okay.
But when they go into a past life and they experience it as the body, I always ask them as well if it's a female and it's a male past life or the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, "Oh, I'm a male," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay." So I always ask, "What's that like? Is it strange?" Every single time they go, "No, it's not. Like it doesn't feel strange because it's them." And they're like, "Oh, I like feeling really." A lot of the women say,
when
"I
you're in
like
that
feeling
state,
strong."
it feels normal.
So they have no problem switching to be male for,
Yeah.
50 minutes in my office and then straight back to female again.
It feels
When
normal.
they don't
So
feel
they're
more buoyed.
experiencing it. That's interesting.
Because they feel it, they experience it. And the women
Yes.
nearly always say, "Oh, I love the feeling of being strong."
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
Wow. And so, because when I do the past lives, like for those who, if anyone's listening doesn't know, I see it for the client. And so they're not experiencing it. So they don't get to have that feeling that you had. So I'm seeing it and I'm getting shown a pattern of lives. And I'm like, wow,
That's so
it
interesting.
pops in my head and tells me that they've had multiple lives, like, or more lives of the opposite gender, or the gender that they're not attracted to, like, so they just feel more familiar. So maybe they were the different
Wow.
gender, but they were gay, and so they're always attracted to men. So in this life, they're a man, and they're like, this is weird. I don't want to be a man. I want to be a woman attracted to me. So they want to change, or so it's like an overwhelming, I don't feel right in this body. And and it's not saying that it can be because I've cleared and healed the past life, it doesn't mean it's going to correct them.
Oh, you can cure gayness.
I was going to say, don't think you're sending them to
No. It's the church and optimistic Xavier that will go out there. Yeah. Preach it, sister. Preach it. Preach it. Is that on your website?
Conversion camp.
Can you look it up now? optimisticxavier.com.au. Get your kids
All
converted
I would
back.
be converting is kids and people that are prejudiced against anybody who don't mind business. That's what I keep. So stop it.
I think, well, the lesson out of all it, because you look at like life being harder, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, but like the reality is life is more difficult.
Yeah.
Some things, not for everything, because some people will be, quadriplegic and go, "Ooh, sounds hard." There's always, stories in there. But it's like the lesson I think out of this is so much is around love and acceptance, and not so much for other people, but probably the hardest thing to love and accept, which
That's
which
right.
is yourself. And so maybe a big part, and I don't even know if this really helps people, that, oh, life is hard, it's just a lesson. That doesn't
Yeah, you
help at
could
the
be wanting
time.
to slap us right now,
That's
which
not, it's not that
understandable.
helpful. But just looking at, love and acceptance, and how much we can for each other, but probably more a challenge for how much we can really love and accept ourselves, because we're all worthy of that. No
Yeah.
matter what kind of challenges we go through. And I think honesty is so important. And if honesty means that I have to come out to my family that I'm gay, or I'm going to change my name, or I'm going to come out, these are really, really hard things for people to do. But when there's that honesty, it's just, I can't pretend anymore. How could it be wrong
That's right, exactly.
if you're so honest, and that's absolutely how you feel? I don't know how it can be wrong.
That's right. And so the kinds of things I am healing and clearing when I do that for someone who's those kind of things that come up for, like the pattern of so many lives of the other gender or something like that. There've been things like I'm helping clear like the stresses of life or clashes with family or those kind of things that could be affecting how they're going in this life. And so you can cancel out some of the whole point of doing the past life healing or clearing. Like the fact that you've got drawn to get it done means you don't need to keep learning that lesson anymore. You're ready to clear it. So then we can heal it and clear it and send it off in whichever style you're drawn to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, that's part of your journey, is to try and transcend
right.
it, right?
Yeah. And it might help
yeah,
them with this life and their transition or what they're going through, or telling their family if they haven't already, maybe we're clearing it in another life. And I have seen that before.
exactly.
The other part of, if it's not a pattern of being the same gender, the other ones I've seen that are have some things in common are they may have chosen to have those kind of difficulties in this life because in another life, and don't get me wrong, this isn't punishing yourself, it's just you're choosing to experience from a different perspective.
Yeah.
In that life, they were the parent or the best friend or the wife that reacted badly to their own child or someone or husband coming out to
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
in life. And so they thought, you know what, when you've assessed your life, when you crossed over, you're like, I didn't handle that very well when my son came out to me. That was disgusting. And ended up committing suicide. Wow. So, okay, I want to experience what it's like so I get a real understanding when I come back next time.
Yep.
That's how I got goosebumps. That's how I feel like it works. It's not you're like, oh, I deserve to get punished because this happened because of this, and this snowball effect. No, you just think I would need to try it out this time so I really get a good grasp of it. You think of all the different scenarios and all the times that people have done bad things because of that topic. So
Sure.
it's turning it on his head and trying it out a different way. Or you choosing a different life where maybe you didn't take your life, or you had a more supportive family. So you've been through the tough family, then you're going to come back and do it again with a really amazing family. So you get to be gay twice and then try out 2 different versions. Well, there could be bloody 6 different versions of all different levels of truth and trickiness and stress and love.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've all been there. Like you can't, I can't fathom unless, I suppose I can, because not everybody else gets it like many of us would, that judging somebody for something they're going through or whatever, like it doesn't make sense because we've probably done it ourselves before.
Exactly.
So why would
Yeah.
we
So-
can't compare about
so
people
my-
think we probably have thought we were or were. Maybe
Yeah.
they've been a cat in their most recent life and this is the first time as a human and they're having a hard time adjusting.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
Could
exactly.
be that.
Or what they're experiencing is so complex, they wouldn't be able to put it into words anyway.
Yeah.
And so this is a way of doing that. So even, there's so many different things. And I don't know that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes things just happen and there are opportunities as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And they are opportunities, and these are the reason why I bring it up as well, is it is a big topic, and love and acceptance is a really, really tricky one to go through, and people do really struggle when they feel a certain way inside and outside doesn't match that. or they're a minority in their society. And so it does feel hopeless sometimes and helpless because no one can experience what you experience. And that's why groups and getting together and sharing experiences that don't have to be the same experience. It's not about, oh, I feel normal but now. It's more about just having some support around you to help you with this really tricky task of loving and
No
accepting
such thing
yourself.
as normal anyway.
No. Oh, well, definitely not. And there never was. It's just now we're actually labeling that there is no normal. There never was. It's not like now is completely different to
Yeah.
200 years ago. We're all still people. It's just more understanding. Yeah. So there's more letters in that LGBTQI plus is because we're getting more and more understanding. One day it will be the whole thing. You know, you've got so many different sub genders in there, and like sexual preferences and pansexual, and
I was
like there's
just
all
gonna
these.
say, I think I'm pansexual, I think. Like, but I have to read about it more and like to know. But I'm not really interested personally in labeling with anything. So I just
Well, that's the thing, but the labels are
have
important to make people go, oh, okay, yes, that is how I feel. So it's like kind of expressing that. But at the
reading
end of the day,
description help me understand. I'm like, oh, there's a name for it now. Okay. I don't know.
when you're with someone though, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's just about love between two people, and those, whether they're male, female, whatever, is actually irrelevant. When you talk about love, it's irrelevant of gay, not gay, half
it's
straight,
connection and soul,
carrot cake,
like not the physical body. Like
and you know when you feel that. So but these things, they're hard for absolutely everyone, and I think when you're going through these challenges yourself, you have to look at what local groups you've got around. It's not cliche. It is actually helping each other out, and you don't know, just you spending some time with someone else that's going through these challenges, you might be helping them. You might even save a life by just listening to people and showing that respect. So it's really important, I reckon, to get in a group, get into a local group, and share with each other, so that not just you're not on your own, but think of others around that maybe don't have the same kind of strength that you do, to help pick people up.
If you're not doing it for yourself, you could be a great mentor or big sister, big brother, big
or just a big ear, just a big stupid ear like mine.
To lean on. That's right.
And allies are really important. I identify as an ally. Like allies are really important, but it's not the same. It's not the same as someone that has been persecuted for the same thing themselves, to sit there and just go, oh, you know, you need that to get together, and allies need to stand up as well. So I implore you that if you are going through these things, they are really, really tough things to work through, because you're talking about love and acceptance for yourself. Go and like get in touch with local groups. And also, if you are feeling really down, there are all sorts of helplines out there, free ones. It's just short term, right? It's not like you have to call in every week. Sometimes when you get into a really, really low state and feel really alone, you need to talk to a human, right? So that's what those ones are called. We've got Lifeline here in Australia, but in whatever country you've got, you'll have those 24-hour phone call support lines. Make sure you give them a call. That's what humans are for, just to get through.
And you might even need to feel like drawn to see someone like me or Mick, because we can help you with that grounding and connection into your body. On this planet,
to love yourself.
It's not because you need fixing or anything, just to help you love and acceptance of what you're going through. So it can help you feel more acceptance of your body and the skin you're in, and love it anyway, because
undo some of that conditioning that's just shit.
Even if you feel like you want to change it, or you feel like you're in the wrong one or something, if you learn to love it, you'll have a better chance, I think, of attracting what you actually need, rather than hating on yourself. So that could be a really cool thing to do, to just help you feel more, in love with yourself.
That's a really lovely thing to say. You should change your website and take that part where you look at converting people back. I think that's good.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Change that, just so it marries what you say. Everyone check out optimisticxavier.com.au and then just see the changes I made as I hacked into a website. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you very much. I'm glad we weren't too careful and we're just really honest and open. please, we're happy for you to give your say in the comments as
Please
well,
do.
because
Appreciate it.
everyone's experience is really different. But please, whatever you write, I want it from love, and we don't want any nasty attacking, because that's just
Well, there's
ridiculous.
we wouldn't attract that because we're talking about this from a place of love and
You'd
naivety.
be surprised how many people are
So-
threatened by love. So yeah, let's just keep it, just keep it respectful. That's all we ask. Thank you so much. We love
Thank
you.
Interesting chat.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for another episode, thanks to our sponsor, Subtle Energy Sciences. Click the link in the show notes to access their full product range of quantum healing technology.
And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. We're so grateful for your contribution to keep this podcast going.
If you'd like to join our Patreon, you can receive bonus full episodes, early release, and monthly readings and meditations.
We love to hear from you, so please comment on our YouTube channel or email us at mickandthepsychic@gmail.com.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist and timeline regression therapist. If you wish to contact me to explore the source of an issue you're facing, just book a session at hearnhypnosis.com and include the promo code MATP for 10% off. You can contact me on Insta and Facebook at hearnhypnosis.
Check out my website at optimisticxavier.com.au if you feel you'd like to connect with me as a psychic medium, spiritual mentor, or intuitive coach. Include the promo code MATP for 10% discount. You can also find me on Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
We look forward to connecting with you again next time as we attempt to leave no stone unturned.
Bye.
All right, cool. I reckon that should be okay.